There are, but the concrete around it's that thick, solid concrete. So it's not just hollow concrete, it's big stuff, so. And the plumbing, if we would lose a heater or something like that, plumbing, we'd have to knock walls out to fix it. So we try to err on the warm side.
Is there anything else for public input? If not, we'll go to number one, the new business, Olson's Construction, drainage near stops. No,
I met with the Olsons, must have been Thursday, something like that. With all the dirt that need to be removed, they figured it'd be $4,500 to $5,500 to do the work. That's digging it out and leaving it in a pile. Jeff Hargens is gonna let us use a cat and a loader and operators. And then we'll have to use our loader to remove the material. The material is gonna go along the railroad tracks. So it's like 150, 200 yard haul with loaders. So all we gotta do is kinda keep the dirt out of their way so they can get in and get out.
Is this for the?
What are you moving, what are you
drainage?
moving?
The drainage by Ed Stobbs. Right by Ed Stobbs, there, it's like where the creek is, they build basically a driveway with, if there is a culvert there, I was
there?
standing on it yesterday, if there's a culvert there, it's very little.
Is that the one?
Yep, right here. With that, they wanna dig this out, and I asked if they could come along here, there's an area about like that where this has washed material over and around. While they're there, I'm gonna have to get that out, because it's gonna have to be a track rig to get in there. Since we've gotten rain, there's no way we can get in there with a backhoe. I was right here with a pickup today, and I about planted the pickup. So we got enough rain to make everything really nice and soft. This material, right here, if we go up another, if you could pull that down just a little bit, there's a fence line, we're gonna put that dirt all along. Right along, actually, there's some kind of a ditch thing that really doesn't need to be there, so we're gonna fill that and then fill all along right here and level that off. The railroad had no problem with us moving the dirt there, as long as we level it. When we get out of there, it'll be better than what it is now, so that is kinda rough. This material here, I thought we'd make a pile and haul that to our black dirt. I think it'll be really good black dirt. So,
That's on private land, correct?
yep, and that, Keith Stobbs gave our blessing to do what we need to do. I'm guessing 85% of our flooding problems are right there.
What about the other one farther west?
That one is not a big deal, we could do that ourselves, I think.
Okay,
This is probably, if you're standing, well, there's a little bit of water now, but if you're standing there and I'm looking straight ahead, there's at least 2 or 3 feet of dirt above my head, looking that way. So, you're talking 7, 8 feet of dam
This is the one just past the building site there, right in the yard of the
in the
building
yard,
site.
right there. Here's the driveway, you just keep coming.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's a big tree right here and a bunch of concrete junk. If there's a culvert, it's probably there, but I was walking around and
well, I can't see one.
I
I've
couldn't
been
either.
down there several times and I never could find one.
Since I'm guessing that was put in here, the water, once it builds up a good 5, 6 feet, it builds up and runs right along these trees. And it's washed quite a bit of material, so some of that will go in there and fill that too. But it's gotta be 5 feet deep before it'll do anything. So we know that's part of our issue coming into town. There's no doubt. I'm not a hydrologist by any means, but I'll guarantee that's it. I mean, it's that obvious, so.
Have you been out to look at it?
I have.
Okay. So you know that that's up there quite a ways.
Now, there's another, deal that Tony mentioned right here, that's not all that deep, there's actually a culvert right about in here. I talked to Jeff Hardens and I said, I almost wonder if it, leave that and maybe put another couple smaller culverts there, like a 2-footer or something, rather than dig it out, cause if we dig it out, the agreement is if we dig that out, we gotta bring in something so they can drive across there.
Okay.
Well, we're gonna have to haul much, that's gonna not be cheap too. And that's kinda what they said, if we do this, we wanna be able to get over
Sure.
here. In fact, while we were cutting trees here, there was people working, taking parts off of these vehicles over here, there's a pickup or something. Every permit either. Now, if I take that dirt and put it along the edge right over here, then I need a permit. But if I get rid of it and put it over here where it can't come in, he said, have at it.
The Corps of Engineers said that.
I went to the Corps of Engineers and sat with the guy in his
So-
cubicle, just because I wasn't sure what I needed to do, so.
If somebody downstream gets flooding, they ain't gonna be able to come back on Miller. Well, it never did that before you took them dams out.
This is gonna be choked down to 2 culverts there, 2 culverts there, and 2 culverts there. The problem is the water here can't get to them culverts, you can see it in that picture. That's holding the water. When we get that cleaned out, it might hold a little pocket here and maybe another pocket there, cause it is a little bit low and there. The Corps Engineers guy actually told me he thought that should come out too, but I'm not worried about that right now, we gotta get that out of there, that's gotta come out.
Well, according to this survey, or this engineer study, that culvert that you're talking about on that flat approach up there is only a 12-inch.
12 or 18, I don't even know for sure, yeah. Dave exposed it and looked in it.
What?
He said, David Finney looked in it, and it needs to be cleaned, and it actually needs to be cleaned on both sides of it. The dirt is kind of built up over the years around it. But I think it needs an additional few, 2, 3, whatever. Because like I was talking about, if we dig that out, we have to fill it back with some kind of rock so it won't wash out. If we put gravel there, that won't handle any velocity.
Well, I think you'd be better off putting a new culvert in there, or 2 or 3 of
2 or
them.
3 smaller culverts and, yep.
Has the railroad said anything to you about those other culverts that are filled with rock?
Not lately.
You haven't talked to them to see if they're
I don't
gonna
know.
clean them out?
I put a bug in a couple guys' ears since then, but they said the guy I need to talk to is up here and he already knows about it, so.
But they haven't said
Yeah.
what they're gonna do, cause that needs to be cleared out of those.
Right. But like you say, right here is a 5-foot and a 6-foot. There's 2 culverts. One's a 5, one's a 6. And right there's 2 5-footers. They're smooth and these are corrugated. A corrugated will not flow as much as a smooth. Just because of the turbulent reaction. Now, I'm not saying this will be less than that or more than that. I'm just letting you know. But anyway, there's 2 here. The west one's half full of rock.
Right.
And it's coming right from where my finger is, right below the north rail. But they know about that. And all the trees are removed. They're all gone. Where am I? Over here, we cut a couple, 2 or 3 small limbs. Instead of cutting trees, we cut limbs and 1 tree over here, so we can get through there, to get rid of that. So it's basically all we're doing is waiting for the guys to dig.
What is that? Culvert. filled with railroad stuff. Needs to be cleared out, and other ones like that too.
So, Ron, if I'm hearing you right, somebody dammed up a creek and it's causing 80% of the flood problems in our town. On
It-
private land.
Right, unfortunately, it's way back in the day, who knows who put it there? We haven't had a lot of water since 2011, really. It was probably done before that, would be my guess, but I don't know. I'm betting the person that used to live here is probably the one there, and he's been gone for several years, I mean, like, gone, so.
We've taken a lot of flack for flooding in this town.
If we don't do something, we'll take more. I know what you're saying, it's out of town, I get that, but
I don't even know if legally they can dam up a creek like that. And so I don't even know that we have to have permission,
he can.
but he has given me permission. We're not gonna
Yeah.
have any backlash
Yeah,
from
that
stops over
that
there.
is from Keith, who would be the son.
Right,
He says, do what you have to do.
even
And
though
like
it
I say, his only request was the access
back farther.
back there. And I'm betting I'm betting that was probably underwater or really soft and they needed to get in here for something. I'm betting that's when that got done, but I have no idea. I hadn't been back there in years. I mean, Gus Rosemore days, years.
The access by the farmyard there, we can tear that out of there.
Yep.
It don't have to
Gone.
have,
Yep, gone.
they can get in a different way to
Yeah,
that.
they can come in here, where are we at here? You can come in around this building and then there's kind of a road right in here somewhere, it's farm now, but there's an actual, it might be even right here. And then it turns to go up there to do that. And then while we're talking, if you want to, can you drag it this way? That culvert under the, railroad. Yeah,
Is that the right place?
yeah,
Looks
you're
like-
close.
Yeah, it's
It
like
must
right
be
there.
right here.
Yeah, I think it's,
I was thinking it was more lined up when you're looking at it.
there you go.
from- Yeah, that is, there it is. That's the thing they wanted to put the flapper valve on. But if we do, we're gonna need to bring the mini excavator and clean that. We can do that in-house. But I'll be honest, once we get that other deal, we may not need to, I don't know. So. I haven't taken a transit just because of I got a laser. I'd have to set it up multiple times because it's only good for so many feet that I'm not even sure what it is anymore. So I'd have to set it up and in here and work my way to see what the elevation change is.
think we
It might be in them
I
plans.
think the elevation's in those plans.
Yeah, I don't know for sure how that is. But once we got everything mowed, it was pretty obvious what we need to do, you know. And cut them trees out of there.
So where did you cut the trees from? In this area?
There's trees here, right here, gone. There's a few of them around the corner. The angle is, you really can't see it in the picture, but there's a slug of them right in front of these culverts. They were small, but they were all, I don't know what you call them, like a buck brush stuff.
So they
We
were
always
slow.
called it.
Yeah.
A bunch of them there, and then a tree or two. There was a couple down below, a couple here. Probably right here, probably 5 right in there, 5, 6, and then there's, I don't remember if I said there's a couple there. Right along here, they've actually grown towards the water, so we cut some of them, and I mowed some because they were small. I just mowed them with a big rotary. And then if you drag it, take it that way, we cut.
Keep going.
There was a couple that were across here that were dead. I didn't know until I mowed over them, it was that overgrown and stuff. But all these are gone, cause some of that water from behind Central Processing Plant comes up and comes over and then goes too. So we wanted to get that out of there so that water can get out of here too. You know, it doesn't do no good getting rid of some water, but not all water, so. And then when we burned all along from pretty much straight north of, let's see where we at. Pretty much, well, the fire guys burnt this out. I didn't help them with that, I was just there for 10 minutes and I quit, cause I had to go. But this is all burned out from here, all along to there. And then to here, and then a little bit there. And then we burnt this area, and then all the way to the road, all the way to the highway. You guys have probably seen that. That was hard to follow while you're doing that.
I mean, I'm trying to make you run.
But like I say, there's no doubt in my mind that's the biggest problem right there. I'm, like I say, don't know if there's a culvert there and it just all crumbled away. And it might have been there for quite a while and crumbled away, and maybe that's why we never had as much flooding as we have lately. Who knows? But regardless, that shouldn't be there in the first place, so.
Well, I just kinda doubt if there's one in there, because I think if there was one in there, it probably wouldn't be washed that deep at the west end of that.
The only thing, right here and north, straight across, there's a bunch of chunks of asphalt and, concrete, and just kinda random rubbly stuff here and there, and I thought maybe they use that as maybe a rip wrap or something is my guess. But right in here, there's a little bit of, I was gonna take the road grader and just roll it and get rid of it, but then I have to have a permit for that. If I haul the dirt out, it doesn't need to be, permit. A discharge is actually discharging dirt in a waterway is how they look at it. I thought it was discharging water in a waterway, that's not how they're looking at it. They wanna get the dirt out and they don't want it coming back. And if I blade it, eventually it'll come back, that's their thinking. So, I wouldn't be able to blade it now anyway, it's, like I say, I got stuck in the pickup now that, we got 4600s Sunday morning and, was it like 3000s the last week? No, it wasn't quite, it was like 2000s last week, so we're looking at 3/4 of an inch of rain on a slough, so you can imagine how soft it would be.
When can Olson's get to this?
They would start tomorrow if the weather would allow it, probably. I doubt they're gonna probably wanna start before the weather. They have backed it off a little bit. So basically, all I gotta do is get ahold of Jeff and tell him, hey, this is the day we're gonna try to go, and he said, just let me know, I got a little earth and a cat available, so. Like they said, if we can't quite keep up, once he starts, we'll be moving dirt. And if we actually are losing ground, after he's been digging for a little while, he goes, I'd be able to dig it, throw it far enough up that it won't be in their way. But I just soon get rid of it as it's going, cause once a pile sits and then it gets rained on, or who knows what, you know how things go, you get called away, you don't get back to it. And I wanna keep the owner here happy, but I also can't, I'm not supposed to leave a pile right on with the cleanup, so. It's just easier to do it and be done and walk away.
So where you're putting this along the tracks, you gotta put a silt fence up
No,
along there?
no, they didn't say anything about that, so. As long as I'm under an acre, and it'll be less than an acre. Or something like that, because that guy never even told me I had to, so. That water, if we would get it, it won't run back anyways, there's a high spot right in. Right about in here, somewhere, there's a high spot, so that water, if it goes, it's gotta go way down there, and it's actually, yeah, there's a drop, but it isn't crazy, it isn't like a rush down there. I'm betting once it's there and it gets a rain on it, it'll be grass in a matter of a few weeks, would be my guess.
So we just need a motion to approve
Olson's,
this.
We'll have to have a motion to approve it and pay the 4,500 to 5,500, however you wanna word it. Dollars.
And the county is in-kind work just like ours?
They're gonna help, I don't know as far as money's concerned, I don't know writing a check or how that's working, but, they're willing to help us with the equipment they got. Unfortunately, a lot of stuff we've done in the past, they really didn't have a lot of equipment to assist us. But we're gonna have a cat going, and if you pay the hourly rate on a cat, that don't take a very long time to run up some money there, so, and the fuel it'll burn too, so.
Well, I talked to Jim Jones today, and they're more than willing to use county equipment to do it.
Do we really even need Olson's then?
I don't have a backhoe or a track hoe. If I take a backhoe there, I dig it and I swing it here and I dump it. I need it to be dumped behind me, not beside me.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the money you're gonna, the time we're gonna save if this takes care of most of the problem of us sandbagging and putting up cones and saving businesses from flooding. That's a small price to pay for volunteer hours.
And dealing with irate residents.
Well, it's gotta help.
Well, this is my take as a volunteer. We call, the guys and gals are great for coming to help do the sandbag. But if you keep doing it and they have to keep coming and sandbagging the same place, when they find out that it could be prevented, when you need them, they might not come the next time. I guess that's kinda how I look at it.
I would also wonder about our insurance liability, since we know this needs to be done. If somebody's house got damaged by flood, their insurance might come to our insurance and say, hey, you knew this was gonna happen.
Mhm.
You didn't do anything to prevent it. Now it's a liability of the city. Because we did do this study, we do know what needs to be done.
If I may, as a former insurance adjuster, that's pretty much exactly what's gonna happen. If somebody finds out about it, they will go to the subrogation department of the city's insurance department and start making demands. Now that doesn't mean they're gonna get anywhere by any stretch, but, if, the homeowner or business owner's insurance gets wind of it, they're in the business of not spending money, and they will go and they will demand subrogation. Now, like I said, but it just, what comes of that, who knows?
How does this not fall on the fault of the person who built the dam in the creek?
He's dead. How are you gonna sue a dead guy? That's the problem, you know?
Somebody still owns that land.
I don't know how that works, but
I mean, has to be some ramifications to building a dam without a permit. If we just let this fly, somebody could dam up the creek over there going to the park.
I don't think so. There's all kinds of new rules and regulations on waterways and different things that have taken place in the last 10 years. That thing's been there for 30, 40,
it's
who
been
knows?
there a long time, I'm sure. I mean, you can tell by
I
the
don't-
tree,
yeah.
the tree that's growing on it, we cut yesterday, or earlier today, was that big around. So I mean, I don't know how many years that tree was there, but it was growing in there.
And if I may, about that question, since that is private property, it's not just gonna be the city's, insurance, or the other insurance company's gonna talk to, they're gonna go back to the homeowner too, or the property owner, and say, why did you not do something about this? Or they'll say that to the insurance company, But it's still, I mean, the easiest, it strikes me that the easiest solution is dig it out and be done with it.
For all the options that Camden showed us when we went over that study, I mean, this is peanuts compared to what the expense of some of those options that he showed us to repair, this is peanuts.
Yeah, he was talking upwards to 600,000.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
this is for, you know, a few thousands of dollars, hopefully this is done.
And that was on that latest study that
Yeah,
they did.
yeah, there's the whole booklet right
Oh,
there.
you got the,
It's around 1%, right?
Mhm.
Well, I'm gonna call for a motion to either do it or not do it.
I'm gonna make the motion, we go ahead and do it. Get it out of there.
Have we got a second? Does that include this $4,500 to $5,000
To
or to
remove whatever they're gonna remove to
$5,500?
make, yeah, whatever they gotta do there to make it, and if it's 4,500 to 5,500.
All right, do we have a
solves the
second?
solution, or has a solution, that's great.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to go ahead and do the drain, remove the obstructions in the creek down here for this flood study. It's got Project 15721. Is there any more discussion?
Are you satisfied with that solution, Ron? You got all our bases covered there and everything that you can
Well,
think
I
of?
think we're okay, but, well, the only thing I'm wondering about, if it wouldn't, I don't think it would hurt anything to have Keith Staub sign something for future deals.
Do we need a letter from the Corps, from the Corps of Engineers stating theirs to where if anything ever does happen, we got a piece of paper saying that they approved that and,
If I do, it's over a month wait. I wanted to do that, and we don't have a month.
what, have a month for what?
To have them do an approval, it's over a month. To do what we wanna do, it's over a month. He says, you don't need one, you can just do it. To get that figured out.
He won't sign anything even saying that.
Well, they gotta do it, gotta do some kind of an approval thing.
You don't have it via email that he said that, do you?
It's by verbal, by point blank.
That would be my only concern. I know this has to be done, and I totally agree with it being done, but I also think we need to make sure our bases are covered by the Corps of Engineer and Keith Stobbs. And in today's world, a handshake or you can do it, isn't like it used to be 30 years ago, but that's just my opinion.
I was out there today and it looked to me like with a couple of trucks and a front end loader, you could drop that 2-3 foot.
I also could drop the loader because it's soft right there now, cause we got a half inch of rain and it's soft there. We were squishing down with the loader or the truck today. He was doing this already.
Now, you don't wanna get down that creek bottom with rubber tires, because that's where you'll stay.
Once it pumps, you're done. And it's wiggling already.
Is there any other discussion? If not, I'm gonna vote by roll call, and I'm gonna start out with Steers.
Aye.
Alderwoman Leckie,
I'm gonna abstain. Cause I don't know.
Alderman Rangel,
Aye,
Alderman Odegaard,
I'm gonna abstain too.
Alderman Zeller,
Aye.
Alderman Schwartz,
I would be in favor of it if we could get the something from FEMA in writing. And if it's gonna take a month, how many years you say it's been there?
We don't know. The tree's
Well,
that big.
what I'm saying is another month and it's been there for 30 years plus.
If we get rain, that's the problem.
Drought conditions are supposed to exist through June or
They're
July.
supposed to.
But it's gotta be better than it was now, with all the stuff you've taken out of it.
Actually, most of the work we did is before that.
But I mean,
But the water's gonna get up there and then it's gonna quit. It's gonna get there quicker, but it's gonna quit because it can't get through there.
In a month, you're not gonna have Olson's there to do anything either.
Well, and we could have somebody else do it. It's just the idea of they wanted to do it on the way and kinda do it.
But are they gonna do it at the same price?
Yeah, I don't know.
Somebody else probably wouldn't, because they'd have to do the whole mobilization costs to get here. So Olson's will be here with their equipment.
That dam was never supposed to be there to start with. It is a creek, it's a natural, it's probably a named creek, I don't know what it is.
It's an unnamed stream.
It's an unnamed, but it's a natural creek that's been there
Yeah.
forever, with a dam in it that was never supposed to be there. It will not affect downstream flooding. The water is gonna start earlier and be spread out more than what it would be with the dam in place. To get permission from Keith Stobbs, in my mind, is more important than a Corps of Engineers or somebody else saying, because I don't think there's any way it's gonna affect downstream flooding.
We can get that letter. I'm sure he'll do something. I can't remember, one of the councilmen talked to him. I don't remember who it was, don't care. But somebody got a hold of him, or hold of,
Who was it that
Dave
called Keith
Peterman,
Stobbs?
Dave Peterman got a hold of Keith. I don't know, I don't care. It was taken care of. They told me I'm doing my thing. So,
Who talked to Keith then?
Not me.
Who did?
I don't-
Who
I
sat
don't-
right next to me at that meeting?
Dave, was it, Rich Nelson? Somebody called him from
Yeah,
here.
somebody was gonna call.
Yeah,
So
that
what
was that
meeting are you
Keith. That was
talking
that guy
about?
from he sat right over there and called. He was on the township board.
Wasn't Mark Fulton.
Yeah, I think it
Yes,
was.
it was Mark Bolton.
It was Mark.
But Mark didn't say he would call Keith. It was somebody else
was
that.
it maybe by chance, Jones?
Jim Jones.
Yeah, it could've been. Yeah, 'cause
Yes,
he
I
was
think
in
it
there.
was Jim.
I
Said
had
he would
council
call
in my
him.
head, sorry, but I just remember they reported back to me, cause whoever it was said, do it, and I did it, so.
I think it was Jim who did say that he would call Keith. There was when they did the study and brought it back here, there was a meeting with the county and, I don't even know,
Township.
townships and then whatever group that the emergency, I don't remember what group met with them.
So just a
A
The
few
city
of us,
didn't
yeah,
make-
a
the
few of us
city
that
didn't.
were here for that. And the county guys and a bunch of township guys and Camden and, I don't remember when that meeting was, 2 months ago probably now.
It was
6 weeks anyway,
probably maybe even January.
was it that early?
No, this was stated
Was it
in March.
March?
It was
March?
March.
I can look, 'cause I was thinking it was February something when we started. I can look if I got the shop, I got it wrote down. I think it was the end of February, or end of February then.
But Olson isn't gonna get anything done with the weather coming in now. He wouldn't go start
No.
till next week.
I'm thinking that, right?
So there would be time to contact Keith Stobbs again and make certain.
Well, with Callahan's forecast, there's nothing coming in for our area. Tonight maybe and tomorrow. But after that, that big to-do that they had,
Way north of us.
all north.
We're gonna get wind though, but we haven't had any for quite some time. We're due.
Wind?
Oh, yeah, well, yeah. Well, the wind will keep it dry.
That's just
You know how
normal.
many times have Paul leaves now?
The thing with Keith is though, maybe Jeff was saying, if he doesn't wanna do anything about it, he may well be held liable the next time we flood. So I mean, I don't know, how could he possibly not agree to this? If he has blocked the stream, or if it's on his property and he knows about it.
I still think we should have not that I don't trust him,
No, I understand what you're saying, I'm just
You know,
trying to get.
I guess I'm kind of
All
blind to
rolling.
this, I wasn't aware of, like, what they decided on a meeting or that anybody, so it's just new to me, that's why I'm kind of dumb about what's going on tonight.
Get ahold of Jim Jones and see if he is the one who talked to him and how to get ahold of Keith and.
I think they went through Dave Peterman. I think at one time, Keith was having some family health issue type of thing, I don't remember, I don't know, but I know that was a phone call away kind of thing, it was leave a message, he'll get back to you kind of thing, at that time.
But is there anything to put in something that Keith would sign that would follow through to the next owners? That being on public property, there's nothing to say, we don't clean this out. 10 years down the road, somebody puts it back in again. And we don't go out there, you probably don't go out there every other week to check this out, do you?
Well, that's.
Since we started this, he has.
I've been out there a lot.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there's a law that states that you can't build on a creek anymore, you know.
That have to be
Is
Corps
that-
of Engineers.
Well, I know that's for a fact, cause I raised the road up over by that or not the Rainbow Bridge, but the other bridge, and I raised it up, cause I got tired of the water washing all the gravel off, and the engineer said, you cannot do that, because it's considered a, overflow. Right below the hill where, Breitling lives, you come over the hill, there's a little low spot there, that's an overflow. And I was raising it up to build the road up, cause I got tired of putting gravel in there every time we had a flood. So I had to quit.
Well,
So
didn't the Corps,
even out of the creek's line, you can't build on an overflow.
didn't the Corps tell you you can't move the dirt in the creek? You can't take the high and move it into the
Yep, I
low?
can't discharge the dirt in the creek, I gotta get it out of there. And by doing that, that's when I don't need a permit.
So then, in the same token, you can't put anything else back in that creek that's gonna be over the top.
Yeah.
So
that's-
building
yeah,
something back
That's a
in.
different way of looking at it, right. So,
Yeah, you can't take some off of the top and fill in a hole without a 404 permit. In fact, this is how fussy they can get with them. If you got a bridge clogged up with tree branches, you can't take them out of the north side of that and dump them over on the south side and let them float down the creek. You can take them out of there and haul them out of there, but then you're in violation of it when you put them back in the creek. That's how fussy they can get. 'Cause I know where that happened in Spring County.
So Jeff, we're,
Tack a contingency onto that for a signature and I'll vote.
can you do that, Tony?
What's that?
Contingent upon approval from Keith Stubbs?
I thought he already gave approval.
He gave verbal, but
we
we
can
need
get, we
something
can get
written.
written for approval.
Get
You
written.
can't do anything tomorrow anyways. What is it
Right.
out there?
We got
'Cause I was
time.
just out there and I know you can't.
We can do that.
And when there's so many questions and you're not in the loop of what's going on, it's hard to know if you just wanna make sure before you vote on something that you're,
I think it'd be a good idea to get him signed something after this deal with this sidewalk deal.
Okay, I'll change it contingent upon Keith Stiles giving the okay to remove it.
the written okay.
Written
Yeah.
okay. Or
Okay,
tape verbal, whichever.
okay, do we wanna kill the first motion?
I guess we'll make a motion to go ahead and do it with a written permission from Keith Stiles.
Okay, the new motion is to go ahead with it upon written permission from Keith Stubbs. Is there any,
We need a
is there a
second.
second?
What's that? You say something, Shayla?
I just need a second.
I'll second it again.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to go through with this on condition of a signed statement by permission from Keith Stubbs. So, is there any more discussion? If not, we'll vote again by roll call, and I'll start out this time with Schwartz.
Aye.
You said yea? Zeller,
Aye.
Odegaard,
Aye.
Rangel,
Well, let me think about it,
you're thinking about it?
yeah. Aye,
Huh?
aye.
Alderman Lichty,
I,
Once more.
Alderman Steer.
Aye.
Okay, you're on 6 ayes and no nays, the motion carried by unanimous ballot. Motion carried. Next thing on the agenda is adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Joe
All
didn't
those
even
in
have time to put
favor
his hat
say
back.
aye. Those opposed, motion carried.
Ron?
Good luck tomorrow.
Oh, thank you.
Ron?
City Hall.
That we're voting in, City Hall.
City Hall. 7 to 7.
What's happening with Larry
Well,
Angle?
good
I
luck.
talked to him the other day and I said, I'll check it out.
see.
Have we done anything over there?
I told him once it warms up.
You never guaranteed anything.
Nothing, are we?
Do you feel like you could just
I went
go
out
back
and
there?
talked to people.
I could do.
I did put something in the paper too, so
I seen that. I thought Tony
Didn't
said
they
it was
say
gonna
the rates were like
there.
This wasn't made to be driven.
But I went out and talked to everybody.
Yeah.
And I didn't know